Hello.
Welcome back to Farm Talk Fridays.
Farm Talk Friday number 3.
Number 3, going strong, baby.
That's right. Okay, I guess I'm going to try to start each Farm Talk Friday talking about what we've harvested and what we've eaten this week.
It's a good place to start.
So, we've eaten a lot of mangoes.
Yes.
And we have eaten a lot of yucca. We harvested, I can't even show it to you.
It was
A
very
yucca this big. I've never seen one so big and long. You know, they're thin. They're like a little tube, because they're tubers actually.
And we would show it to you, but we ate it.
Yeah, it took 2 days for us both to eat it. You know, so imagine a potato that fed 2 people for 2 days.
Well, and we still have some left over.
Oh, we still have some left over. We have not finished it.
No.
I'm just saying it was a big yucca, that's all.
Big yucca.
And then also we've been eating a lot of star fruit.
Yes. Your prop is behind you.
Oh, okay, I'm turned the wrong way. Now, most of you know star fruit. They're normally very tart, but this is a carambola dulce. So carambola is a Spanish,
Should we cut it?
or it's the word down here anyway for star fruit.
So the star fruit looks like this. So you can already start to see that it looks like a heart, or a star. No, I don't want to cut my leg.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, it's your prop. Now you can show them.
Well, yeah, it is looking just like a star.
Yay! Star fruit.
And there's little seeds in there, but the seeds aren't hard, so you just kind of end up eating most of the seeds. You can pick them out, or you can spit them out if they bother you. But so anyway, normal star fruit, super tart, but the carambola dulce, the sweet star fruit, are absolutely sweet and delicious.
Yeah. And we had a friend that is from here, and she grew up here in Costa Rica, and she did not believe that carambola or star fruit, like sweet star fruit, existed. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
It was very funny.
Yeah,
So it's not a popular variety,
that's right.
but we have one because we like biodiversity.
We have a couple, because we've got one on the
Oh yeah,
Lot 11 border as well.
that's true.
Also, next, moving on.
Yeah. Well, it's your format. You said you were going to
That's
talk
my
about harvesting and eating.
Yeah.
And then what was your second thing?
Yeah, I'm sure we harvested and ate a bunch of other stuff too, but okay. The next thing I want to talk about is our well.
Oh yeah, the well.
You know, when you're a farmer, sometimes you have a well. There is public water here, potable, drinkable water, but on our property here on the farm, we've got a really nice well. It was really nice until,
It's still nice.
yeah, in the last couple of weeks, it was not performing well. We had very low or no water pressure. Luckily, our whole little farm community kind of is interconnected with each other's water supply. So if if one area's water goes down, then we can just turn a little valve on, and we can share the water with the next area. So anyway, but ours was down, so we had to call out a pro, which was
Hard to do.
interesting, because sometimes, I mean, the workers here are super talented, and they're like jack of all trades, and they really know how to do an unbelievable amount of things, but we wanted like a specialist, because
It's hard to find experts
Yeah.
in a rural town.
so this was already here when we bought the property, this well, so we had never seen it. We had heard rumors about how deep it was and what kind of well it was, but we did not know for sure. And it's covered by a huge concrete plate. So anyway, we found somebody, David.
David.
Yes,
David.
He really knew his stuff. And we had heard that maybe our well was 75 meters deep, which is really deep. And so it turns out our well is 95.5 meters deep. It's probably, I think it's over 100 yards. So we have a really deep well, and apparently there was water at 15 meters, which is unbelievably great news, especially because we're basically at the end of the dry season. So, I mean, we've had a little rain, but really not that much to replenish the aquifer, the water table. So we're super happy about that. We're not happy that we have to replace some part of the pump and get a lot of work done, but we're super happy knowing that our well is really good and really deep.
Yes, that was very exciting to find out. Okay, so last thing before we switch to me, what were you doing outside with the chicken tractor, Ken?
Yes, well, at this rate, I will finish the chicken tractor next decade, maybe. No, I have a goal. I want to finish the chicken tractor by June 1st.
Okay.
I'm not saying we'll have chickens by then, but the chicken tractor will be finished by June 1st. That's only like
My dad's birthday.
That's 2 weeks away. So I've really got to get moving. But today I cut some air holes for
Okay.
the chickens.
So they can breathe.
Yeah, some really nice circles with this circular bit. It was really exciting.
So we'll have to show this chicken tractor at some point, but it's very modern and cool looking because Ken built it. Well, actually, he designed it. Derry built it.
Derry built
Thank you, Derry.
Derry did the carpentry, the wood, but all of the metal work is done here.
Yes. Brian Robinson is saying Pura Vida. Hope you both are. And then we have some weird block from Facebook that I have to see. What is it? But I don't want to be that person that's like, what does that say?
Your broadcast. I don't know.
Oh, I wonder if... Anyways, we're going to keep going here. So what I wanted to talk about this week were, like you were talking more like flora. I don't know, are insects considered fauna? They must be. They're not flora.
Definitely considered bugs.
Yes. So ants, I wanted to talk about ants and the moths. And before I do, just everyone that's on live, thank you for watching. This is fun to do. We've been getting some really great feedback. So we're happy to entertain you. Okay, so ants. It's rainy season. The ants are hard at work. Here in Costa Rica, we have lots of ants. And Ken is convinced that when you hear about biodiversity numbers in tropical regions, that at least 2/3 of that is ants. Is that your theory?
Well, the biodiversity is mostly bugs here.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of birds and other animals, but man, there's a lot of bugs, and there's so many different kinds of ants.
There's so many different kinds of
And you
ants.
just get used to living with them.
Yeah, so there's like these little microscopic ants. They're super tiny, but they will bite you and you feel that. Then there's like these black ants that I think some people call them fire ants. And they like oil, and they can eat through plastic. And they come out around rainy season. So we've had those lately, and we just kind of ignore those ones now. But the ones that have been coming out recently that are, I don't want to say problematic, we're learning how to live with all of them. But the army ants are here. And the army ants are very interesting. They're big. They, to someone that hasn't lived here, they would look similar to another large black ant that we have. But these ones have like fluttery legs.
Kind of feathery.
Yeah, they're feathery, fluttery legs. And they will show up, and it's like chaos when they come up, like through your deck that like we have. So they come up, and they're just all over the place, and it looks like an ant invasion, because it is. And so after a little while, they start to organize, and they start to create these lines. And so that's how you also know that it's the army ants, because it's like chaos erupts, and then they start to get organized. Now, if you step in them, they will immediately attack you. And that's unpleasant, because that happened yesterday while I was out working.
Oh, no.
That's okay. That's why I've strategically planted aloe in different parts of the garden, knowing that, it can be hard work out there. Like ants can get you. You can get bites from other things, hornets, and anyway. So the army ants, they've been quite a challenge this week. But our new plan is, if we can, we're just always gonna leave. Like it's so much easier that way. At first, and this is maybe we won't go into the horrible, awful truth, but like when we first got here, we absolutely had no idea how to manage the situation, and we freaked out a lot.
Yes.
And then we found this stuff called diatomaceous earth, and it's a natural product. And so we've been protecting our house by using like a line of diatomaceous earth around the perimeter. And unfortunately, I think it's a really horrible, awful death for the ants, but they end up learning that maybe this stuff's not good for them, and they start to avoid it.
Mainly
and
it's a deterrent.
Yeah, and it's not toxic. It's not like a poison. But what it does to them is that it's abrasive.
It destroys their exoskeleton. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's, that kind of bothers me too, that we're doing that. So now our new plan is, like, if we can, let's just leave the house, and they're usually in and out pretty quick. So they take over, and if you can be gone for like 2 hours, they'll be gone by the time that you get here. And what they do is that they kill pretty much everything in their path. So they're cleaners. So they come in, and if you have, other bugs who also deserve to live, but this is nature. There's cycles, and they get cleaned out. So the army ants are actually our friends if we can just learn to live in balance. So anything else about the ants that you want to say about this week? Oh, what about like when they were coming into the house? So we did the diatomaceous earth because we had to deal with them like 2 or 3 times last week. So the first day, I'm like, diatomaceous earth. And so I went, put like a boundary of the powder, and then they ended up coming in anyway. They found a way to get into the house. And then we had this new ant invasion, and Ken's like, oh my God, we're getting invaded by ants. And I said, no, they must have been living here somewhere in the corner of like the wall, and they're running for their lives from the army ants. Yeah. I'm like, they are in danger. So they were like carrying their little egg babies and trying to get away. And I actually, with Ken's help, like swept them up into a pan and helped deliver them outside, hoping that we could spare some of them from the army ants. Because I have guilt from last year when like there was this really big ant that you could like see its like little face, and I'm like, oh, look how cute you are. And I'm like, oh, I should put you outside. And so I picked it up and I kind of tossed it outside, and unfortunately I tossed it into the army ants, and the army ants ate him.
Yeah.
Immediately. It was very sad. I did not know I was throwing him to his death.
So the other way to use the army ants is to use them as your household cleaning device.
Yes.
Because once they come in, they eat everything. They take everything off the floor, any kind of leftover crumbs of food, any dead bugs or live bugs. They take everything and eat everything and take it all away. And everything's pretty spotless after they run through.
Yes. So ants, I also wanted to talk about moths. We've had, because rainy season has begun, we've gotten a whole bunch of different kind of moth species, and it's been really exciting to see all the different moths, like small ones and then also like really big ones. So there's a really beautiful yellow one that had like pink legs, and it was sleeping on a plant of ours out on the deck. And I took some really nice pictures, but they're on like our good camera, so I haven't transferred them onto the computer yet. But I will eventually share that to the Green Wave House page. It was so cute. He was just like snuggling a little leaf. I showed Ken. He agreed. It was absolutely snuggling the branch leaf thing it was on. And then we saw it the next day, like, so I thought that was really beautiful and big. It was like the size of my hand. And then like the next day there was like a moth like this big that was yellow.
Yeah.
And so I have a picture of that I think I already shared to the Green Wave House page. So you should definitely check that out. And I've realized that moths are, they're like ravers, they're like party people. They come out at night and they party all night, fluttering around. They're not like butterflies, which are like day partiers, but the moths are the nighttime raver partiers. And then they chill during the day. Then they're just like sleepy and like hanging out, listening to Day Jungle, the sounds of Day Jungle during the day. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. This is a new observation. So I had other things to talk about. We're trying to kind of keep Farm Talk Fridays somewhat short. And but I did want to, shout out to Brian Sweat, who's one of our neighbors, and he loves this plant that I had growing called toothache plant. And I gave him some seeds like a few months ago, and so he started growing them, and then my plants died. They were at their end. And I'm so glad that I gave him some seeds and that he had started them. And then he gave us 4 new plants that came from our plants. It was all very sweet. So we have 4 new toothache plants, Gulante babies, out on our deck now, thanks to Brian and Phoebe. And so I just wanted to give him a shout out.
We'll have to show the part you eat and talk about it on a future.
Yes, future Farm
Friday.
Talk Friday, we'll show you and talk all about toothache plant. And I don't know, I think that's pretty good. Katie Bunny was here. She wanted me to mention some other things, but it would take me too long to get into them. But while she was here, we had a scarlet macaw fly directly over the house, and this is so exciting because we've been working with Wild Sun, which is one of the projects that our nonprofit Green Wave helps out. We've been helping Wild Sun since 2016, and I think it was 2018 when they decided to take over this Scarlet Macaw project, a successful project in a different part of Costa Rica, like 20 miles away.
That project was ending. It was at the end of the project.
Yeah, so every 10 years you have to pass the baton so that the population of birds can grow. So the baton got passed to Wild Sun, one of our projects, and we had one of the birds finally 3 years later fly over our house, which is pretty far from where the Wildlife Rescue Center and Release Center is. So that was very, very exciting. And the Katie Bunny element is, I had talked her into doing a photo shoot a couple years ago, saying, hey, we're going to be doing this project with the Scarlet Macaws, and will you do this Artivist piece with me? And it was all so sweet. She was into it. She's always game. She was into the permaculture pinup idea immediately. She's great. So thanks, Katie Bunny. And so the final thing I will say, this is it, is the new permaculture pinup interview will be debuting shortly here, maybe within the next hour or two. So you can check that out on the Facebook Permaculture Pinup page, or you can just go to permaculturepinup.org.
All right.
Yes.
Thanks, everyone, and we will see you next Friday for Farm Talk Friday.